Hey guys, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. You know, there's certain things about certain watches that I just find very attractive. For example, with Tudor, the snowflake hands. I used to hate the snowflake hands, but somewhere down the line, a switch got flipped, and now I was obsessed with them. I became, I needed to have one, and I purchased that Black Bay 58. I got it, and now I could stare at those snowflake hands all day long. Another thing that I like, and um, I don't know, it just really aesthetically pleases me, is a Moonphase complication. Now I know a lot of people will argue that it's completely useless. It's ornamental, and there's no real need to know the in this day and age what phase the moon is in, unless you're, I don't know, sailing, right, or planting crops or whatever you would need that for. There's other ways to find that out. But there's something, I don't know, romantic about a moon phase. The problem I've had with moon phase complications is not the complication itself, and we're not going to talk about the actual complication of modifying a movement here. But it's more like, it doesn't take much real estate on the dial, right? So you either have it at 2 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever o'clocks um, they have it on, and it just doesn't really seem like it's that prominent. However, I found a couple of brands who I think are doing it right. Now, I'm not talking about, whether it's some high horology piece here. I'm not talking, complication or like what they're doing to the movement. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into a history. I just want to talk about two brands that I think are doing this right. And anyway, from my perspective, they're doing it right. But before we continue, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to get reminders when I upload new videos. I love making these videos, and I hope you like them too. So first, let's start off with the first brand that I want to talk about, and they have a couple of models that I really think is, really great, and that's Christopher Ward. And the first one I want to talk about is the C1 Grand Malvern Moonphase. I'm looking at some notes here, so I don't mean to be rude and looking away from the screen, but I just couldn't commit everything to memory. But the C1 Grand Malvern Moonphase, um, the first time I saw this, I was like, yes. Now, Christopher Ward is interesting. Um, I've never been really attracted to their watches before, and I think I know why. It's because of the branding of the Christopher Ward at the 9 o'clock position in a lot of their watches. I know previously they had done it more traditionally around the 12 o'clock, which I like. But the 9 o'clock branding kind of turned me off. However, with this moon complication that takes up like a third of the dial, I don't mind it so much, and I think this watch is stunning. You got a 40.5 millimeter case diameter here, height of 12 and 3.5 millimeters, and it's got an ETA movement, a 2836-2, with they modify it and they call it the JJ04 module. And here they have like the moon is almost like textured like a 3D. It's on a disc, and it rotates around, and supposedly it's accurate for 128 years. Bananas. But I just like the sleekness of this watch, and I think even though it's a little bit bigger than what I would consider a dress watch, I mean I could definitely wear this, and if I'm getting dressed up one night, having that moon complication, wearing a suit at for a night event, I think that's really really great. So let's move on. Another Christopher Ward moon phase complication. This is more of a newer release. Is a C1 Moonglow. Again, 9 o'clock branding for the Christopher Ward. Not a problem for me because you got this huge moon phase. And what's great about this moon phase, they have this superluminova that they've applied to the moon. So the moon glows at night, and you'll see there's actually a second disc. So it rotates. There's two discs, and the dial they have, 2/3 of this dial. It's almost kind of like a smoky, kind of tinted piece. I don't know what material it's made out of. I'm sure it's somewhere on the site and you can find that out. So it kind of mutes the other moon. That other moon still has the both moons have the superluminova applied, but it mutes the moon that's underneath this application, so you can more distinctively see the top moon. And I think it's brilliant. Now they're using a Salida here, but they still have the same module, the JJ04, and this is a little bit more. This one, you're looking at, on a strap, $1,935 on this Milanese bracelet, 1970. The pricing, pardon me for not going over that with the other watch, but it's there on the slide. Finally, I want to move to another brand, and that is the MeisterSinger Lunascope. Now, okay, this has got a couple things going on here, right? So you have this incredible moon complication, just like the Christopher Ward, taking up like a third of the dial. And on top of that, you have this single-handed watch, where you could tell the time. And this one's a little bit more expensive. This is a German-made watch. This is around 3,000, just over 3,000. They have previous models that they've come out with that are a little less. They don't have this like orange or yellow moon that you see here. But this watch also running off the ETA 2836-2, and it's also been modified for another, to be accurate, for 128 years. I mean, that's bananas. If you keep these watches wound, the Christopher Ward, that Moonphase will go for and be accurate for 128 years, or sort of the claim, my understanding from reading the website. But you have this great single-handed movement. Now, it's almost like double the price. But there's something about this MeisterSinger. This is more of a existential question about how to tell time. You have this single hand, and you may not get it accurate to the minute, but this watch to me is not about that. It's all MeisterSinger watches. It's not necessarily, am I going to get the time? Am I going to tell you the time exactly what it is? Is it 9:11 and 30 seconds? No, this gives you a ballpark. So time is not as important per se. That's the impression I get. And then you throw in this Moonphase, and I think it's brilliant, Anyway, so as you can see, I'm over the moon over these moon watches. But let me know what you think. Is a Moonphase complication, is that something that doesn't interest you? Do you find it useless, or do you find it pleasing to the eye like I do? I don't have a Moonphase watch. I think eventually I'll have one, and it might be one of these guys, one of these three watches, to be honest with you. Just because I feel like if you're going to do a moon watch, go big or go home, right? Why not? So kudos to these guys for actually doing that. We're not talking about high horological pieces here either. They're using ETAs and Salidas. Yes, they're modifying it, but these are not Pateks. These are not like Breguets here. But these really, really, hey, you got a Moonphase. You got a Moonphase watch when you're wearing these. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for stopping in and watching this video. And I will see you guys soon.